The peoples of Latin America and the Caribbean commemorate International Women's Day by raising their voices for equal rights. Women from several countries in the region will honor the courage, strength, and achievements of women around the world in the face of the challenges of inequality in public and private sectors. In this sense, thousands of activists will carry out activities such as forums, marches, and rallies during this day. On the other hand, the date reminds the world of women's struggle for equality, recognition, and the effective exercise of their rights. Across different countries, women fight for the struggles of their peoples, demanding a more just world amid an increasing world crisis. In Argentina, the traditional March 8 demonstration takes place despite the confirmation by the government that public workers who adhered to the strike will not receive the day's salary. Manuel Adorni, spokesman for the President Javier Milei, was in charge of communicating this decision. As every March 8, Argentine women are preparing for a great day of mobilizations. However, in view of the onslaught undertaken by the executive against the feminist movement, this day takes on special relevance. Despite the threats that target an already impoverished sector, big demonstrations are expected all over the country from a movement that has been at the forefront of women's struggle in the continent and is now severely targeted by the national government. With the commitment to revitalize the functioning of the organization, the 11th Congress of Women's Federation began this Thursday in Cuba. Nearly 323 women delegates gathered at the Convention Palace in Havana, the capital of the island, to discuss the current challenges facing the country. Teresa Amarele Bowe, member of the Political Bureau and Secretary General of the Federation, explained that the main objective of the Congress is to evaluate the results of the work of the last 5 years, in addition to honor the work developed by women in various sectors of the country. During the Congress, the work of prevention and care carried out by female social workers, volunteers in various delegations that exist in the country, as well as the role of women who hold management positions in delegations focused mainly on young women, will be praised.
We have to reinvent ourselves to face these times, to revive ourselves, to confront everything that is threatening our achievement against all the beautiful and wonderful things that Cuban women have achieved. And as communication is my field and I cannot detach myself from it, we continue to win, as all the delegates have said, in the way we communicate in our neighborhoods. Communication is not only the media. We communicate with that we do every day. We communicate by our example.
In this context, women dedicated their speeches to Palestinian women. Deeply moved by their courage, they demanded an end to the crimes committed by Israel against them, their children, and their rights and freedoms.
And I did not want to conclude my speech without joining, as many of our delegates have done, as we did today from our commission, to this international demand to stop the Israel crime in Palestine. Stop killing children, stop killing women. The solidarity of the Cuban women is with the Palestinian women, with those who are also great fighters to protect their children from death every day. We are with you, and our denunciation today is made clear from our Congress of the Federation of Cuban Women. Thank you very much.
Meanwhile, in other regions of the world, women also take to the streets to raise their voices against worldwide oppressions. In Spain, for example, social organizations are commemorating this March 8 in the streets of Barcelona. Feminist associations and collectives organized a series of events to vindicate equality between genders and denounce the different types of violence against women. The Assembly 8M called for a march from 6 p.m. local time through the gardens of Gracia and walking along Gracia Passage, passing the Ronda do Samper, to reach the Triumph Arch, where the mobilization will end. The Assembly also called for a walk under the slogan, "From our misery, we make the struggle grow," to show the rejection of femicides and gender violence.
We are here because 8 March is not only commemorated on this day but every day, and we go out to vindicate it to date, and we have to shout, not to keep quiet, to say everything that happens, to talk about rape, xenophobia, about everything that happens because we are not as advanced as we think. We usually think that we have progress, but that progress is not completely done. There are still a lot of things to change, and that's why we are here today and every day since we suffer then, we are.
Meanwhile, in France, thousands of women demand gender equality and demonstrate against gender violence in the streets of Paris. In this way, feminist activists seek greater visibility and the constitutional guarantee of their rights. In the meantime, the country's administration announced that on March 8th, it would be the date for the country to incorporate the right to abortion into the constitution. Precisely on Friday, French President noted that he wants to include the right to abortion in the Charter of Fundamental Rights of the European Union. And also in Afghanistan, small groups of women staged demonstrations to mark International Women's Day in private spaces after a crackdown by Taliban authorities forced activists off the streets. Women have been squeezed from public life, barred from traveling without a male relative, and banned from certain jobs, secondary school and university, as well as from parks, fairs and gyms. A handful of women in several provinces gathered to demand restrictions be lifted, according to activists from the Purple Saturday groups, which protests Taliban government curbs on women.
We, the members of the Purple Saturdays movement of Balkh province, on the occasion of March 8, International Women's Day, asked the leader of the Taliban group be brought to court for their terrorist and deadly attacks in the last 20 years and for crimes against humanity and gender apartheid against Afghan women in the past nearly 3 years. Rights, justice, freedom.
Now let's take a short